What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are covering another one of the new Ultra Beast Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Nihilego. So, if you're just joining us now, my name is Wolfe Glick. I'm the 2016 Pokemon World Champion, and I'm currently in the middle of a guide series where I walk you guys through kind of my initial thoughts and some builds that you guys can start off with. If you're looking to get into competitive play, if you're looking to get into VGC, which is the way in which you win like thousands of dollars and travel all around the world and meet really cool people. So VGC I know can be very intimidating for a lot of people because there's so much information. There is a really, I wouldn't say there's a pretty big learning curve, I would say. And so I know it can be really intimidating. And so I'm trying to do this series where I give you guys kind of some good like sets to start with if you're interested in using some Pokemon. And yeah, that's where we are. So Nihilego, let's talk about it. It's one of the new Ultra Beast Pokemon. It's UB01, I think, Ultra Beast 01, which is the first Ultra Beast introduced. Its typing it's actually a really interesting Pokemon. At first I thought it was really bad, but I've kind of changed my mind. I think it's actually not bad at all. It's rock and poison type, which means that it's weak to psychic, steel, ground, water. Oh, I can just look down here. Steel, psychic, ground, water. Okay, yeah. So it's weak to those types. Basically, it's 4 times weak to ground, which is pretty bad. And in terms of its stats, very good HP, like pretty good speed, really good special defense, really good good special attack, but very low defense. And that's kind of the bane of Nihilego in my opinion. But it's not insurmountable. So in terms of moves, it gets some really interesting stuff. Power split and guard split. I haven't looked into sets with those yet. It's a Pokemon where it definitely doesn't have a ton of moves, but the moves it has are like pretty good. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the sets. Let's start with this one. So, this is the first set. This is going to be your standard set in my opinion. Normally, when you're using a Focus Sash on a Pokemon, you're not worrying to invest in bulk. You're normally just going max speed and max special attack. So, that's what we have here. Hidden Power Ice, guys. So, whenever I use Hidden Power, Showdown won't let me do 31 IV, even though with bottle caps you can now overwrite the IV, so you can run 31 here. On this set it doesn't particularly matter, but just for the future, so you guys are aware that is definitely an option. In terms of moves, so like I said, it's poison and rock type, so you get Sludge Bomb and you get Power Gem. Those are kind of your obligatory stab moves. And for those of you who don't know, if a Pokemon uses a move of the same type that it gets a 1.5 times boost, so that's really a lot in a game like Pokemon. So Sludge Bomb and Power Gem are your standard. They're going to be on most of your sets, in my opinion. And then Hidden Power Ice, I personally like because I mentioned earlier that Nihilego it's 4 times weak to ground, and one of the most common ground type Pokemon right now is Garchomp, and Hidden Power Ice does a lot to Garchomp. So that's kind of the general idea there. In terms of what you're actually doing, these are just some calcs. So because Nihilego is really good special defense, it doesn't take a ton from Tapu Koko's special side. We're still waiting to see whether or not most Tapu Koko go physical or special. But as you can see, Sludge Bomb does a lot to Tapu Koko. It's a really powerful move, and it has like good special attack stat, and Tapu Koko is not bulky. So Sludge Bomb is going to do a lot there. It doesn't KO Tapu Lele. I feel like that's fair for you guys to know, unless they go... No, even if they're frail, you're still not always going to KO. With Sash, though, you can outspeed and you can 2-KO, and if you get a poison, it can change things a lot. So Sludge Bomb is still really good to use versus Tapu Lele, and if you're really worried about Tapu Lele, I'll come to some other suggestions in a minute. But yeah, you're not OHKOing. They are KOing back, but you have Focus Sash, so it's not that bad. And then Power Gem versus Marowak. This isn't my Marowak set. If you guys want to see my Marowak set, we'll talk about it more later. But my Marowak set I think is a little bit bulkier. It's got like 68 special defense, and as you can see, that makes a big difference here. It goes from an 87.5 chance, I believe, to 37.5. And yeah, as you can see, Power Gem is going to do a lot of damage. Boomerang also going to do a lot of damage. So that's just kind of showing you guys the offensive potential of Nihilego. Very strong mon. Poison is a really good offensive type right now, and Rock is honestly not bad either. Defensively, it's not that strong, but you're kind of covering for that with your Focus Sash. So Nihilego, in my mind, kind of is filling with this set a role similar to how Gengar filled in the past, where it was very offensive, very frail, but because it hit things so hard, it didn't really matter. Like, because 2 attacks from Gengar was normally worth losing your Gengar, and I feel similarly about Nihilego at this point in the metagame. So, moving on, let's touch another set. This set is very similar, guys, but I think it changes the calcs and it plays very differently, so I've included it as a separate set. This Hidden Power Ice, you can use Hidden Power Fire, you can use Grass Knot, Energy Ball. I've seen actually a fair amount of Energy Balls for Water-type Pokemon, and I think it gets Thunderbolt. Let's double check that really quick. Thunder, yeah, so it gets Thunderbolt. So all those are solid options. Also, shout out to everybody who told me that Control Tab will move me among tabs. That's really nice. So now I don't have to play the guessing game with my webcam. So basically, same moves here, same EVs. But the difference is the item, and the item actually makes a big difference in the calc. So as you can see, Sludge Bomb now has a 93.8% chance to Oko Tapu Lele versus a 0% chance before, which is, in my opinion, like pretty significant. And so this is max HP Tapu Lele, and I don't think you're going to see many bulkier Tapu Lele than this in the special side. Some people will go Spec, some people will go Life Orb. And so you're almost always going to KO with Sludge Bomb, which is like really good. So that's that calc, which is important. I calced Hidden Power Ice versus Garchomp without the Life Orb. I didn't calc this before, but we may as well check. So without the Life Orb, you're not going to KO Garchomp. You can do it with some other damage, but with Life Orb, you will always KO Garchomp. So that's pretty significant in my mind. Yes. So Hidden Power Ice, obviously a very strong move versus Garchomp. It's 4 times weak after all, so yeah, that's pretty convincing. And then lastly, Power Gem versus Bulky Arcanine, still going to KO. And so that gives you an idea of how, that's why I think the sets played it very differently, because with Focus Sash, you're trying to get 2 attacks off, or as many attacks off as you can, but with Life Orb, you're just trying to get enough, like you're just trying to Oko stuff. So Power Gem and Sludge Bomb are way stronger after a Life Orb boost, and they're pretty hard to mitigate. So that's one of the reasons why I feel that this thing is pretty good. Last set. So like I said earlier, Nihilego has like really good HP, really good special defense, but really terrible defense. And so the idea with this set is it does learn Reflect. I believe it learns Light Screen as well. We can double check that. I don't want to tell you guys bad information. It does learn Light Screen as well, so it gets both screens, but because the special defense is so good, you're probably going to want Reflect if you want a screen. So this is just something interesting. If you're not worried about Garchomp, let's say you have like a really great matchup versus Garchomp and you need a different 4th move and you want to like support the team, Reflect is actually a good option. And what these EVs do is, and I'll show you here, I EV to live, just like, I don't think most Celesteela are running a lot of attack at the moment, so this is just kind of like standard Celesteela, Heavy Slam. And as you can see, with Reflect up, it doesn't KO, and that will give you now a boosted special attack stat, which now, like, of course, Power Gem's not super effective, so it's not doing a ton of damage, but 57 to like 70% is honestly not bad at all. And that's like a big case of we take those because the damage, like, the damage output is really good, and Reflect will last for a while. And obviously, like, Celesteela is, it's one of the bulkier mons in the format, like one of the bulkiest mons in the format. So if you put this up against, like, I was having trouble thinking of things that were like neutral to Rock and Poison, like I just can't, because like everything I'm thinking of is like Fairy. Let's just put in Blood. I didn't count this, guys, but let's just show you guys. This is Gyarados, for example. Oh, Gyarados is weak to Rock. What is neutral to Rock and Poison? What's like a Pokemon that's good? Raichu. Let's put in our Alolan Raichu. Yeah, so basically, as you can see, like, you're doing a ton of damage here with your attacks, and you wouldn't KO before. So that's, in my opinion, a pretty significant difference in terms of the spread. So yeah, the weakness policy, obviously, with Nihilego, I think it only has 4 weaknesses, but if you can just mitigate some of the like potential for your opponent to Oko you by using Reflect, you now have like a very strong Nihilego. And as like there's a lot of things that are weak to Poison or Rock in the format, which I think is pretty strong. And then the last thing, I just calculated +2 Sludge Bomb versus Oranguru, which is one of the bulkier mons in the format, and learned Psychic. And as you can see, even without investment, it's not gonna 2-hit KO Nihilego, and then you get a boosted Sludge Bomb. And this is versus like a very bulky, Oranguru, and you can still do so much damage. And if they have like less, if they have like 4, you're doing like a ton of damage in return. So if you can play into a position where Nihilego like does a Sludge Bomb and then protects and then Trick Room is over, you can like it can be very threatening, especially with the poison. So I think that's it for that set. Lastly, I want to talk to you guys through some potential partners. So the first thing that comes to mind is Gyarados. Nihilego, as you can see, like there's the electric types in the format are more or less, there's like Tapu Koko, which is the main one, and a Tweak to Poison, and they're mostly special at the moment. And so Nihilego is like very good special defense. Gyarados supports Nihilego very well because it's immune to ground type attacks and has Intimidate to bolster its already like pretty low like physical defense stats. So I think that's pretty convincing in terms of why Gyarados is a good partner for Nihilego. Yes, it hits ground type super effective with Waterfall. It can hit Garchomp super effective with Ice Fang. Yeah, Intimidate again is really good because it boosts Nihilego's special defense. It benefits from Nihilego doing a lot of damage to Arcanine, which has Will-O-Wisp, which can be a problem for Gyarados. Gyarados is good versus Crocodile, which is pretty common. Yeah, overall just like a solid combination in my opinion. Next up we have a Tapu Koko. You can use another Tapu Koko set, but I like Tapu Koko here because it's very fast and it's very strong, and so it exerts a lot of offensive pressure. So this is what I took from my Tapu Koko analysis. If you're interested, I will link it in the description down below. I walk you guys through how, like, just some different Tapu Koko sets and how I think you should go about starting off using it. And yeah, this is just the standard choice band set that I put there. But Tapu Koko again, although, okay, so Tapu Koko and Nihilego share a weakness to ground, so these like would have to be a part of a core. But I like that Tapu Koko hits like water type super effectively. I like that it hits like basically the things that resist electric are ground and grass. Is there anything else in electric? And Nihilego is like really good versus everything that's not ground type. So the Tapu Koko could definitely be like a part of a set where Nihilego, Tapu Koko, and then some stuff that was like really good versus ground types. And lastly, I have Marowak because okay, so the real reason why I have Tapu Koko here is that Celesteela is very, very, very good against Nihilego, and Celesteela is really hard to beat. And Tapu Koko is one of the few Pokemon that really can chunk Celesteela. So that's why I have Tapu Koko here. And then lastly, Marowak, similar. So this is again weak to ground, but I like Marowak here because one, it protects Nihilego from physical Tapu Koko, which is definitely a big threat. Like I think in the calc earlier, you can see how much Wild Charge does even without a boosting item. So it protects Nihilego from physical electric type attacks, and it again is a Pokemon that's very good versus Celesteela, and that is super valuable at the moment because Nihilego is definitely like very weak to Celesteela. So yeah, if you're interested in this Marowak set, what the EVs do, I will link it in the description down below. This is from a guide on how to use a Alolan Marowak. So if you want to learn how to go about using a Alolan Marowak, check that out because that's where the set comes from, what the EVs do, and why the moves are what they are. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. I've been really happy with all the support I've been getting for these videos, so I hope you guys are finding them informative. If you have suggestions for the next Pokemon you want me to cover, make sure to leave it in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.